Welcome to this live feed. How is everybody this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world? I'm going to speak to a very interesting topic this evening, and definitely have spoken to this a number of times before, many times before in fact. But the importance of this subject matter, the importance of this topic is so, just make an adjustment there, sorry, is so crucial to our growth, is so crucial to who we are, is so crucial to how we move through the world, that if we don't pay enough attention to this subject matter, to this topic, what generally happens is we get lost. And that really feeds into this analogy that I heard the other day from another speaker, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was referring to purpose as a GPS. So our purpose, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background into this. Actually, I'll go through the analogy first, and then I'll give you a whole lot of background that really helps us understand the importance of our purpose. So the analogy was that life, or purpose rather, our purpose is like a GPS. It's like the destination, okay? So we have an idea of where we're going, and we place that destination in the GPS, and that's our purpose. And no matter what happens along the way, perhaps there's roadworks, perhaps there's bad weather, perhaps we have to veer off, we come back, but we always come back on track towards our purpose or our destination. We're always going to go to our destination. And our purpose in life is more than just an end state or an end point. It's not something that we conjure up in our mind, or that even that we think deeply of, or that we give a lot of attention to and say, that's who I want to be, that's what I want to do, that's where I want to go. And then we reach that point, but then what? What do we do? So I've got some fluff somewhere here. Then what do we do after that end point? You see, our purpose is more intricate than that. Our purpose is far more powerful and empowering than that. Our purpose is what I call an evolving end state, or rather our purposes are like an evolving end state. That means that at certain periods and certain times in our lives, we identify with a particular way of being, a type of person that we wish to be, that we want to be. And we then align that destination point, that ever-evolving destination point, with who we are at that time, what we value most, what's most important to us in life, in that epoch of time that we exist, that we occupy, so to speak, that space that we occupy. And we get a very clear picture in that time and space, of who we are and who we wish to be and so forth, our dreams, our aspirations, our greatest vision for self. And then from that point, we decide, this is where I'm going. Now, what happens is, along the way, we're going to encounter challenges, we're going to encounter queries, we're going to encounter doubt, we're going to encounter fear, we're also going to encounter a lot of joy and bliss and happiness and connectedness as well, and clarity along that path. But in those moments, that for us, that's a natural reinforcement of our purpose or our path. It's when we encounter the negativity, the difficulty, the challenge, the doubt, the fear, the disconnect, the wedging, the pain, the turbulence in our path, that we are caused to question, is that path for us? Now, here's the wonder of our doubt, and here's the wonder of the fear and the disconnect and the despair and the challenges that we experience. We have two things. One, we have an opportunity to grow in that moment. So if we embrace that negativity or that doubt, that perceived negativity, that fear, we have an opportunity to grow. Secondly, those challenges that occur in our lives because of the series of choices that we've made in life, we're directly responsible and empowered with those choices that we've made that draw hardship into our life, so to speak. Under most circumstances, there are times, of course, probably a complex conversation. I won't go into it, but for the best part, know that we are empowered to. I just want to clarify. I don't want to go into it because it's going to take us and me on this tangent, and I don't want to go on a tangent this evening. You don't want me to go on a tangent this evening. But for the most part, we're empowered with the choices that we make. So in that moment, we have an opportunity to reevaluate, to constantly reevaluate, ask quality questions of ourselves and ask quality questions of the journey that we're on. And this is really, not only is it empowering, it's actually really useful. So we experience the challenge because, again, the joy, to reiterate, the joy, the happiness, the blissfulness, the connectedness, when that's along our path, we don't really tend to question, hey, am I on the right path? Hey, am I doing the right thing? Is it aligned with my highest version of self? Is it aligned with who I wish to be and where I wish to go, etc., etc.? We don't ask those questions when we're feeling good about life. We ask those questions when we're feeling shit about life. Here's the opportunity. So to reiterate again, there's 2 points. There's an opportunity to grow, there's an opportunity to learn, to teach ourselves something, to then gain that wisdom and teach others, pass on that torch of knowledge, so to speak. But in addition to that growth that can occur, that learning, that deep wisdom that can occur from being immersed in that challenging situation, what can happen there is, Yanni, how are you, brother? My brother's away at the moment, so I'm saying a very special hello to him because I haven't seen him for a while, so he'll be back soon though, no doubt. I hope the family is well, brother, lots of love. So, as I was saying, sorry for the interruption, as I was saying, that second phase of what that challenge gives us is an opportunity to look into ourselves and ask, quality questions in life determine the quality of the outcomes that we experience in life, but the quality of the life that we live. Okay, and the lives that we live and everything that encompasses. So that second opportunity that arises when we experience the shift in doubt and challenge and adversity and disconnect in relationship or disconnect on our path, it causes us to ask ourselves, well, stop, is this path still for me? Now, the answer to that is only you can answer that. Nobody can answer that for you. People can come into your lives and present to you variables or arguments or cases for this path or that path or that path, but ultimately the decision is ours. The decision is our own. We must be empowered to choose when we weigh up intellectually, but also from a position of heart, from a base of heart and spirit. We must weigh up and say, okay, this is or is not for me, and only you will know that. Mark Harry, brother. So, very importantly, again, to reiterate, what doubt and fear and disconnect and dissonance and cognitive dissonance is for, cognitive dissonance is when we are acting in a particular way, but we are experiencing internally something very different to our actions. And there's a dissonance that takes place, and it's a disconnect as well. So when we're experiencing that in life, obviously we're experiencing that hardship, and internally we're saying, well, hold on, this is the path that I've chosen. Why is this path so challenging? Why is it so difficult? And it may be too difficult. It may be too challenging. It may be a signpost or a series of signposts that are indicating to you that this path is not for you, but only you can answer that. But here's the kicker. Here's the thing. Without astute observation, without acute observation of self, without attention to the entirety of our lives, we will never understand whether that path that we are on is actually for us, whether those challenges and hardships are simply there to test us and to strengthen our resolve on our path, or whether they are telling us, they are symbols, because everything in life is a symbol, and it's the meaning that we attach to that symbol that gives it a reality or gives it a power. So we're never going to know if it's a reinforcement to stay sturdy and strong and resilient on our path, or whether it's a symbol saying to us, telling us, maybe it's time for a change. Maybe it's time to reevaluate your purpose, because X amount of months or years ago, this is who you were, this is what you wanted, but so much has happened, so much rich experience and diverse, robust experiences has taken place in that time from then to now, that maybe our purpose or purposes need a reframe. And this is the point of what I'm making today. This is one of the great points of what I'm making today. Is that Our purpose needn't be set for life. Our purpose, our goals, our dreams, our aspirations are malleable. They change. They are adaptive to who we are and what we value most in that period of time that we are of existence, or that we are moving through the world. You see, our purpose or our purposes for self is allowed to change, and in fact it should transform. Well, no, I shouldn't say should, but it has every opportunity to transform if you want it to. Now, there are some people that move through life and they are very clear on who they wish to be, and they legitimately, sincerely only wish one or two experiences to occur that are prominent in their lives, and that remains prominent in their lives for the rest of their lives. Today's culture, however, is a little bit different. There is so much stimulus in our external environment. We are overloaded. Our senses are overloaded with stimulus. And in addition to that, we're overloaded with information. And we're also beginning to expand our understanding of human potentiality, of the infinite possibilities that we can be a part of or engage in. And that's a very interesting proposition, because with that comes a diverse understanding of the self, and also a yearning to experience richness in life. And in addition to that, diversity, variety in life, because so many of us have so much access to resources. We have so much access to knowledge and wisdom and different ways of being than our predecessors, and those 50 years ago, 25 years ago, 10, 15 years ago even. And that changes the game with respect to what we expect or what we prefer in terms of experiential understanding of self and the world to have in life. So it changes the way we want to live our lives. We no longer say, yep, I want to be a fireman and that's all I want to be for the rest of my life. And not that there's anything wrong with those that do want to be a fire person, or do want to be a police officer, or do want to be a doctor, or do want to be a teacher, or do want to be whatever other conventional career vocation pathways there are, or I just want to be a parent, or I want to be an entrepreneur, or I want to start my own business. I mean, being an entrepreneur is quite, you don't have to have multiple businesses to be an entrepreneur at all, but generally the culture around being an entrepreneur is that you do have multiple businesses as a side note, or multiple ventures, multiple interests that you invest heavily in and you build and you create and so forth. But that's another story. So what's really important to understand though is that no longer need we box ourselves into one major experience in life. Yep, I'm a parent and I'm a social worker, or I'm a partner, I'm a husband and I'm a stockbroker. We can go well beyond these labels, well beyond these categories, because of the access we have in the 21st century to resources, to information, to knowledge, to wisdom, to people, to culture, to society, to so much. And this, my friends, is so empowering to understand. And when we understand this, and when we grasp this fully, when we immerse ourselves in this space, we realize that we need to lock ourselves down to one purpose for self. We need to lock ourselves down to having one set of dreams or aspirations or a vision for self. We begin to realize that, guess what? We can be or do or achieve or immerse ourselves in a particular experience. And once we are satisfied in that experience, that we feel we've gained as much as we can for who we are in that time and space, we can move on and recreate for ourselves a new purpose, a new vision. That's exciting. Because what we're doing is we're expanding consciousness and we're expanding mindset. Now, I want to make something very clear again. I touched on this earlier. There's nothing intrinsically wrong, irrespective of what culture we're in and what the latest fads are, what the mainstream or the norm is right here, right now. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with, or bad, or not right, or misaligned with just connecting to one purpose. And some of you may say, but all I want to be is this, or all I want to experience is that, and I'm content. And that's fantastic. And you may be content for the next 150 years. And I say 150 years very purposefully, because as a side note, I promise you, Most of us that are alive and healthy today, and even not so healthy, give it another 10, 15 years, once technology, once biosynthetics kick in, you're going to be alive for until 120, 130 as the norm. 120 and 130 in the next 10, 15, 20 years is going to be the new 70 and 80. Remember that. So that, and I mentioned that on purpose, because what that's going to do is allow us more experienced time to really get clear on our purpose, really get clear and define who we are and who we wish to be and how we wish to move through life, and redefine our vision for self, our dreams, and not only redefine, but live more of that, because we're going to have more time. There's a reason why I put that in bunny ears as well. But knowing how important it is to get very clear on our purpose, because full circle back now back to the beginning. The GPS analogy. Get clear. When we're putting in the destination in the GPS, we are getting clear. We're getting very clear on where we are going. So, when we get clear on where we are going, on where we wish to go, on who we wish to be, on how we wish to behave and how we wish to act, etc., etc., how we want to structure our internal thoughts and our belief systems and so forth. When we get very clear on that, the actions of today, the actions that we take on board today align with that purpose. There's integrity and alignment in purpose and actions. Therefore, there's more meaning and fulfillment. Meaning and fulfillment are the foundations for experiencing happiness, for being happy, for being content, for experiencing joy and bliss and wonder in life. And meaning and fulfillment are achieved when we connect our actions of now to our purpose and our vision for self. And that's the only way that we can experience true happiness, is through meaning and fulfillment. That's it. It's as simple as that. And how do we gain, or how do we enter a space of meaning and fulfillment in our everyday actions? We connect our actions of present to our vision for self. It's that fucking simple. That's it. The challenge, of course, is getting very clear and blocking out the white noise and blocking out the loudness of society, of externalized values and pressures that are pushed upon us and condensed upon us, and that cultural clutter that comes on top of us, telling us we should be this, we need to be that. You need to unapologetically be you, full stop. You need to express the grandest version of self, full stop. You will be, we will be, we are all a culmination of what we experience. We are all a culmination of society and culture and externalized values. That's a given. We experience that. We're social relational beings. That's not the issue. It's the issue is when we don't pay careful attention to the self, when we don't actively query our lives and say, okay, I have this value set. I have a belief system. I believe in X, Y, and Z. But does that serve me? How does that feel within? How do I think about that when I'm engaged in that activity? Does it resonate with me? We're not asking quality questions that lead to quality outcomes. We're not asking any questions most of the time. And if we're not asking questions, we're not gaining clarity. We're not able to tread a path that hasn't got so much clutter. So we're going to be a culmination of everything that we experience in life. That's a given. But the choices we make, the specific choices we make about who we wish to be, is only going to come through query, through the art of quality query, because the art of quality query leads to a quality life and quality outcomes. And quality is defined by, equality is defined by outcome and vision matching, and action and purpose aligning and matching. That's what defines quality. So remember, I want to recap on this now. Meaning and fulfillment lay the base, the foundation for experiencing happiness. Happiness is achieved when we have that base of meaning and fulfillment. And meaning and fulfillment is derived from aligning our actions of present to our grandest vision for self. And it's about getting very clear on who we wish to be in every area of life. So in my programs, I have 9 areas of life. financial, vocation, relationship, family, social, then the 4 physical bodies, the 4 human bodies, physical, spiritual, emotional, psychological. They're the 9 areas of life. And just to get very clear, in the relationship area of life, yeah, perfect, Paul, congruency, yeah, absolutely. And it's that connection of understanding one's purpose and understanding one's grand vision for self that leads to experiencing a posture of congruency, or a posture of and a state of openness with self and the world, and a posture of authenticity as well, and integrity, and an integral alignment with self and vision for self. Yeah, so self in the present and future self, so to speak. And of course, we're constantly working towards that future self, but we're also living that future self as well by aligning our actions of present with that ideal version of self. And that ideal version of self, the future self, becomes the now. But where was I? I lost track because I went on a tangent. I went off center there for a moment. Give me a moment. Just have a think about. Ask a question, people, while I try and remember what I was on about. Ask 2 questions. Thanks, Beck. Appreciate it. I was on relationships. Yes. What was I talking about? Relationships, Beck? Tell me again. Mental block. I'm waiting for Beck to write. I can feel that she's writing. Jenny, I know I was speaking of relationships and I forgot. I'll come back to it. Look, I'll come back to it. That's cool. But when we're experiencing, so I'll just come back. Yes, thank you. Got it, Beck. Bam. Okay. Yeah, you know, I've read a little bit about Paul. You're putting me off, but I love your comments though. But yes, I'm familiar with that gentleman, and I've actually got it. I think I was looking at his book. It was a couple of weeks ago. I was looking at one of his books on bookdepository.com. Anyway, I'm getting on a tangent again. But thank you, Beck and Jenny. Yes, part of the course, so 9 areas of life. So we were speaking to relationships as an area of life. Now, I just wanted to be clear about that, and then I know exactly where I was. So the relationship part of the 9 areas of life, that's the one, Paul, thank you. The relationships area of life covers relationship to self as primary. Secondly, it covers relationship to earth. And then thirdly, covers intimate relationships. I just wanted to make a note of that because the 9 areas of life is really, really comprehensive. Thanks, Paul. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to look more into that gentleman, David, as well. Yeah, thank you so much. So when we look at taking or making, creating alignment in our lives and creating brilliance and wonder in our lives across the 9 areas of life, it's very, very important to understand that when we begin to act in a particular way that's aligned with our highest self, it's aligned with the best version of self, we become that best version. And we look at all the different areas of life. This is why I mentioned the areas of life earlier. We look at all the different areas of life and we look at, how can I excel here? How can I be brilliant here? How can I have competency in this area? What does it mean to have physical competency? What does it mean to have emotional literacy? What does it mean to have mastery over my spirituality? What does it mean to be connected to my vocation? What does it mean to have financial acumen? And when we get really clear in our vision for self, and the 9 areas of life can help us get clear because we can have different purposes or vision for self in each area of life as well. That's why I'm a big believer in purposes, not just one purpose. Not say, all I want to be is a banker and that's it. That's a vocation / financial area of life. But what about the physical? What about the emotional self? What about the spiritual self? What about the family? What about our connection to self, our connection to earth and what that actually means, and having competency in that? Because when we do, the reason why the 9 areas of life have been identified and they closely connect to purpose and enhancing our purpose is because they cover every facet of our existence. Without them, we wouldn't be whole. If we don't have competency, I did a webinar on this. It was under the Sovereign Leadership Model. It's my weekly wisdom webinars every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. GMT +8. So Perth time, 7 p.m. or Singapore time. and we covered mastery, and we looked at mastery across all areas of life. And when we have mastery in every area of life, when we understand the intricacies of every area of life and every nook and cranny of our being, we begin then to get very clear on who we wish to be, and that lends itself directly to our purpose. So people, the best thing you can do for yourself and for those around you to be of service to the evolution of your own being and to the evolution of others is to get clarity, gain clarity on who you are and who you wish to be and how you wish to move through the world and why. Get clear on your why, your purpose, your vision for self, your dreams, your aspirations. That really is your why. That is why you do what you do. That is why you breathe. That is why you live. It's because of all these accumulated experiences that you have. That's what makes you you. That's what makes us us. Yeah? So I'm going to leave you with that, people. I'm going to leave you with an inspiring message of hope for humanity, hope for self. That if we can get clear on our purpose and be unapologetically ourselves, authentically ourselves, where we're assuming a posture of selfish selflessness, where we're of service to the evolution, expansion of self, but we're also of service to others. When we do that and we get clarity on who we wish to be, on our purpose, and we begin to live that, we are happy. We're happy because we're finding meaning and fulfillment in every action that we take in life. I want to leave you with that. And I want to leave you with, secondly, if you want to learn more about how my programs, my courses can be of assistance, yeah, absolutely, Paul. Thank you, Tennille. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. I'll post. What will I do? How will I post that up? I want to post it for the public to see, so I'll do a post. I'll do a post on it, and I'll link the post in this. I'll do a second post on it, and I'll link the post. Thank you, Beck. And I'll link the post in this. I'll put the link in this live feed. Okay, so everyone will get that. I hope. Yeah, and I'll put a comment to the link as well. I'll do that when I get off. Yeah, on Facebook. Yeah, definitely, Paul. Thank you. But if you want to learn more about my courses, my programs, how they may be of assistance to you, how you can work with me one-on-one, my online courses, please visit my website, sifandos.com/programs. But beyond that, feel free to private message me, contact me. And much love to you all. And of course, people, if you have a message to share, if you feel this burning desire to speak your truth and share your wisdom, your life experiences, and I'm sure they are rich and deep and plentiful and meaningful and broad and so empowering for others, do so. Share your wisdom, share your message, share your joy, share your pain, share it all. Because you don't know whose life you can touch and what difference you can make in another human being and the fulfillment that we get from that. Yeah, definitely, Paul. Love you too, my friend. Thank you very much for your support. Yeah, Christmas will be good, brother. Really good. People, take care. Much love to you all. Many blessings. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope that you've got something from this. Please feel free to share this with your loved ones if you feel it resonates and they could be of assistance. This could be of assistance to them. But of course, again, speak your truth. Thank you so much. And share your message of wisdom as well. Deeply appreciated. Many blessings on your own journey. Speak soon.